Mr. Wanyang, I'm just wondering what your response will be to people who believe largely that INEC has come out with these guidelines to ensure that elections are free, fair, and indeed credible. But those members of the CUPP who are raising objections to this, what will your response be to them when they say that this whole architecture of INEC is aimed at rigging the elections?
Well, I have confidence in the chairman of INEC, and I still say it because I know him. I met him in the national conference in 2014. He's a man of integrity and honor. I do not think that he has any vote to give anybody. I have been saying this in the past 18 months. Professor Yakubu Mahmoud and his INEC has no vote to give anybody. Let us all as political parties be vigilant at the polling units. We have talked about, I also talked about the role of the security and the police. Yesterday, we have gotten a new IG. Very well. With his statement, I think he's in a better position to engage Nigerians and even to participate in the election more intellectually and more robustly. I do not want to believe that we should pull down the institution of INEC. At times I ask, give me concrete evidence to show that the chairman of INEC is biased. INEC chairman has no vote to give anybody. The votes will come from our villages, from our polling units, and we'll be there when it will be counted, we'll be there when it will be recorded, we'll be giving copies of those results, and it will be pasted. INEC chairman has no role to play. Let us stop overheating the polity. He cannot do it. All we can do is where there are guidelines that we think that will not be in the interest of this election, like allowing people whose names are not found in the register to vote, we will go against this as I've gone against this one. It will be obnoxious, it will not be acceptable, it will render the result of that election nugatory based on the position of the Supreme Court.
So the political parties, CUPP, the political parties under the umbrella of the CUPP, they've raised objections specifically to the CAVS, the Continuous Accreditation and Voter System. Do you think that perhaps they are judging a little too early, considering that INEC says that all of you, all political parties, were consulted in the lead up to this process and coming up with those guidelines, which it has, and has, as a matter of fact, on Friday last week, said it was amending some parts of the guidelines to accommodate the concerns of those political parties. Do you think that this is now a document that we can work with to ensure that those elections that are coming in 2019, in February, are free?
Well, the consultations have been going on. You know, Zenith Labour Party is the last political party registered among the 23. So we are about 3 months old, or thereabouts. And all those before us, they have that advantage. As soon as we are registered, we entered into primaries. We have been very busy moving around, trying to get members, get candidates, and get them win election. And I want to say that if you ask me as any Labour Party, I will even be calling for the postponement of the election, but the handover date must be sacrosanct because we need more time to also have the advantage other political parties had before we are registered. You may call it selfish, but I'm talking about my party.
Are you saying, I'm sorry, if I may come in here.
We registered and we are moving on.
If I may come in,
and let
are
me
you
say,
saying,
let me say.
Are you saying that you do not believe that INEC is ready for these elections?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about what we believe in our party. It is left for INEC to say so. But I want to tell you that these guidelines are out. I pointed the one that is not acceptable. I don't see anything wrong in accreditation and voting. It will save time. And all the agents will be at the polling units. We will all be there. Nobody can manipulate anything. It will save us time. But the issue of allowing anybody to vote whose name is not in the register will not be acceptable to the Zenith Labour Party. And every other political party has the right to say its own views, and they have the right to condemn what is going on. I think accreditation and voting should be allowed to stay if we are all vigilant with our party agents, provided that the police will not drive away the party agents and that the police will not do what they have been doing over the previous elections. And I think this new IG coming from NIST, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, as a directing staff, where I passed through in 1992, I want to say that that is where the policies are made. He must be intellectually positioned. He must have the means to relate to political parties as it has to do with the election by not doing do or die in every polling unit and hijacking the process. Once we get the security architecture right, I can tell you INEC has no vote to give anybody.
You kept talking about this voter register being sacrosanct.
Yes, I have to talk about voter register. That is the germane of any election.
I agree with you.
That is the finality of any election. But, voters register.
Yeah, but don't also forget that the same voter register that produced the permanent voter card and all of that. If you look at Section 10 of the guidelines, it says, in accordance with Section 49, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act, a person intending to vote shall be verified to be the same person on the register of voters by use of the smart card reader, SCR, in the manner prescribed in these regulations and guidelines. Subsection, the B there says, any poll officer who violates the provision of Clause 10A shall be deemed to be guilty of an offense and shall be liable to prosecution. Suggesting that your comments seem to be suggesting that we should set aside all of the electronic apparatus put up for this election.
No. INEC has powers to have regulations and rules to help it in achieving a credible election. But such regulations and rules should not go contrary to the ground norm, which is the Constitution. We know that the electoral register, the register of voters, is the beginning and the end of a credible election. If we have that at the back of our minds, when we are putting guidelines or regulations, even in the Electoral Act, and it goes contrary to what the Constitution says about the voters register, those provisions becomes null and void to the extent of their inconsistency. Voters register is the beginning and the end of any credible election, without more.